This is our town.
Welcome!
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 177 of Valley Town. I'm ChanmanV. He's Gaara. She's Cora. We're here to talk about cards today. How are you guys doing?
Fantastic, yeah. Just came from the gym. I'm motivated, like I'm hyped. Let's talk cards. It's like the best season, right before a new expansion when we see all the new cards, and then after like 3 months it gets boring and because we know all the cards.
Golly, man. Come on. It wasn't boring for 3 months. Well, actually after 3 months.
No, after 3 months.
Like, after
this
3 months.
month before the new cards.
Okay.
It's pretty boring, to be honest.
Really?
So
I stayed entertained.
It's like all the same decks for the 2 months ish.
Well, Cora just played Shutterwalk for 2 months, so
I did. So
she had a lot of decks to play.
Yeah, Even Warlock, super fun. Or Odd War, yeah, Even Warlock. And then you got Odd Rogue. That's a great one. No, I've been a little bit bored myself. I've been playing some other games in the meantime, but really excited for the new expansion. So
yeah,
so I know there's good stuff coming. We just got to get through the lull, but it happens every time.
Yeah, there's a ton of cards, even just today. I think we've had 4 cards released today, maybe even 5. But the reveal schedule is much shorter than it's been in the past. So we're getting like 5 or 6 cards every single day for the next week and a half or so. So be ready for that. Lots of cards. I mean, looking at the subreddit, it's so funny because it's just like a different card posted for like the top 8 or 10 right now. And it's got its own discussion thread. It's pretty interesting to see, just this many reveals happening right now. But anyways, we're gonna definitely talk about new cards. Just a little bit of news, not too much news. There was so much news last week to really talk about that. Didn't leave too much. Seatstory, of course, is happening this week, and Gaara's gonna catch us up a little bit because he's prepping for it and all that good stuff. And then we're going to finish with some Q&A as always. Got one question, of course, from our regular. And then if we've got some time, we'll take some from Twitch chat. So our week in Hearthstone. I know, Gaara, it's for you. It's been a lot of Seatstory. Cora, how about you? What have you been up to?
Honestly, I've been messing around a lot. I streamed a couple of times, been playing some more fun decks, some Recruit Warrior, which is a lot of fun to play right now. It's not awesome. So I'm sitting around like rank 2, but I'll probably make a legend push with Even Warlock today or tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to enjoy some of the decks that I haven't gotten to play over this expansion because I was playing Shutterwalk nonstop for 2 months.
Yeah. So are you playing Rotface?
Oh yeah.
How many? It's
not worth playing Recruit Warrior unless you're playing Rotface.
Right?
There's no point.
How many actual legendaries do you get from Rotface on average?
On average? Ooh.
I mean, you get 1, obviously, right? Like, you're not playing.
Sometimes you get 5 and sometimes you get 1. So on average, about 3.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Man,
if
I
you
get like 2
get
and that's it.
Nah, stick the Woe Cleaver. Cleaver, bring him out, and then Warpath 5 times.
Oh, you're always doing the Warpath combo.
Yeah.
Right. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm always just like hero powering or something lame like that, So, okay. When you get 5, that's fun. Yeah. That's some serious fun.
He's fun.
I actually had a game this week against Recruit Warrior that got the maximum amount of legendaries from Rotface, and it was always a 1-1. It was ridiculous. It was the unluckiest play I've ever seen.
How many like this? Dalnos?
There's like the Lanissa, for example. There's like so many random ones where you don't think of. You got like Lanissa, then he got Talnos. And every single outcome was like that. It was hilarious.
And he's killing them each time. He's triggering it probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It can be very bad, but I've had some really great moments playing him.
Yeah.
So he's a lot of fun.
That's the whole point, right? Yeah. Combination between Rotface and Yip. I mean, random stuff coming out, and random legendaries for the most part coming out. That's gonna be a lot of fun. That's what makes the Recruit Warrior so fun.
Oh yeah.
For me, I I'd been putting off getting the Legend this month, and I finally decided to do it the last couple of days, and it only took me 2 days, which is, I mean, it never takes me just 2 days. So I just played Odd Pally and then just finished like rank 1 with Control Priest, because all I was facing was like mages and zoo lock and stuff like that. So Control Priest was like super easy, but man, it was super easy. So if you guys are trying to get to Legend, play those 2 decks. You will get there in like super record speed.
That's impressive.
Yeah, that's by far the quickest I've ever gotten there, like even at the end of a month. So it's it was pretty fun doing that. Mostly because I had quests. I had a ton of Paladin quests. That's kind of the only reason I played Odd Paladin. And then it turned into just kind of a run. But outside of that, yeah, not too much. I'm getting ready to go to the Overwatch League finals tomorrow. So that's kind of why we're doing the show today. If people are wondering, why is it on Tuesday? That's the reason. So it's going to be fun for sure. But let's talk about Seatstory, Gaara, given that it's the big event this weekend, and they announced decks, right, on Seatstorycup.com if you guys want to go there. And it's not the greatest view of the decks because they kind of show them as a link at a time, so it's kind of hard for us to look at these all at once.
Yeah, but anyways, the website is great because you can actually check out everything. You can check out the brackets. Like the brackets will stay like this. Like you see, Group A till Group D will be played on the first day, which is on Thursday. This is the first like event day. And Group E to H will be played on Friday. And you see like all the pairings already, and then under news you see all the deck lists from every player, and it's just, and there's like a time schedule as well. Like you can see at which time roughly which match will be played. So if you are only gonna watch because of ties or whatever, you can actually check out already on which stream. That's nice. And you can like click on which stream, because there will be an A stream and a B stream. Yeah, which match you want to see. It's like, it's pretty sick, to be honest.
Yeah.
Blizzard should do more stuff like that, I guess.
These groups, man. These groups are pretty stacked, which one's the group? Yeah, they're very stacked. Which is the group of death, though?
It's hard to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting, pretty good.
Like Naria versus Thais is gonna be a great first match to watch. Like teammates, team kill, very first match. They can still both make it because they're double elimination groups as always. And how this is gonna go is it's like it is double elimination groups into double elimination groups. So 16 players will advance, and then we have again 4 groups with double elimination. And then we have single elimination top 8, but best of 7. So players submitted a 5th deck for top 8, and it's LHS and it's all invites, and you pretty much have heard, if you're following the Hearthstone scene for the past year plus.
Right.
You know all these players, and there's like a lot of cool invites, like for example Control, which is usually just a wild player, and I have no idea if he even plays Standard or if he ever participates.
I don't think he plays that much. I mean, he plays a little. Everybody plays a little.
And he's playing against Colento first round, so there's very cool pairings.
He's the king of wild. I've never seen him play Standard.
I've seen him play like once or something like that. Yeah.
It's just interesting to see what kind of different decks people.
I'm sure Jackie and Ali probably picked decks for him to play.
Probably, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. What do you think of your group, man? You got Orange and Yagut and Turna. You get Turna.
I always get the tryhards. Like Turna won Oslo.
Yeah, Turna's good too.
And he's a freaking tryhard. And he's already hard countering the first round. No big deal. Just high roll, just win ball.
He was the only European player to not advance to World Championships from HCT Championships.
Yep. So he's been consistent too. He's really,
because he was kicked out by another European player. So only
yes,
that's right.
Yes,
that's right.
But still, he didn't get there.
Turna's is he Italian?
Yeah,
he's Italian, right? Okay, yeah.
He's like
Italian.
the most known Italian
He's
player.
Super nice.
Sure.
He's a good dude. I had a chance to talk to him a little bit at HCT Champs.
Yeah, and then there's like Orange and Mr. Yagut as well. They're like obviously both very good.
Yeah, these
Nobody you can't take, Gaara. You got him.
Easy clap.
Do they pick the groups
Oh,
just
two.
randomly? Like these groups are pretty well. I feel like they're balanced pretty decently.
I have no clue how they make the groups. They just,
Okay.
I mean, they announced the groups one day before the exhibition, so everyone knew who is he gonna play against or who
Yeah.
is in his group. So that's a little bit sketchy. And deck lists are public. We decided that basically also yesterday. Like
Yeah.
we did a straw poll. Ekop did a
Oh,
straw
really?
poll.
That was just decided last minute. Wow.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like Ekop did the straw poll.
Okay.
And then they're like, okay, let's do opening.
that's
Everything happened kind of on the
story
fly.
for you. Yeah.
I feel like they would have to sort of group the players into, you know, like influencers, top
Yeah.
pros, so they can avoid having a group that's like Orange, Stansifka, Kalento, Nyria, because
Yeah.
that would just be unfair if there was another group that was like, you know, Ali, Jackie, Control, and like Ekop, for instance. You know, I think they do need to space it around for sure.
It's just
So it was
smarter,
probably
too.
manipulated in some way.
Yeah, it should. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, in the end,
Yeah.
it's all about entertainment, and I mean, obviously the competitive side of it, but entertainment is why they're broadcasting this, right? So, I think that getting a chance to see some of our favorite influencers and against some of the, some very known pros too is very fun for the community to watch.
Especially like there's like people coming back that usually don't play too much competitive faster, like Kolento or Pavel. Like I'm pretty sure a lot of people are missing Pavel.
I don't think Pavel has played since the last Seatstory Cup.
I know. It'll
It's
be
like
fun to
more than
see
6
him play
months.
again, especially against Fino. It's gonna be pretty fun. Hopefully, it's
He
something
tweeted
fun
out,
there.
"What a great time to learn the new cards."
Oh my god!
No, that's what he did for the
He
last
read last
Seatstory.
time, right? He read
We
one of the cards.
We were in China for
Oh my
Gold Club,
God.
and Pavel was going to Seatstory. He's like, nah, I don't know that I'm going to go. We'll see. We're like, Pavel, you have a flight. Pavel, you're confirmed in the tournament. Pavel, they announced it. And he's like, nah, I don't know what any of the cards do.
And then he was actually
It's a
reading one of the cards.
He didn't know what they did.
Yeah, that was funny. I remember that
So
moment.
funny. He's such a ham, but I love him.
He is. No, he's always. We need to see him more, man. It's like weird not having him, just on the tour and at these tournaments. But I like how like there's already 2 names in the green and 2 names in the red, so it kind of looks like that these things are already done. But nope, they're not done yet, guys. So these will fill up as we go. But yeah, it's gonna be another fun event. I'm sure if you guys have never seen Seatstory, it's like a mixture of competitive and memes, and the players always have a blast there. I mean, Gaara, you've been to I don't even know how many now. How many?
Every single one.
Every single one. You're like the only person that makes it to
What?
every single one.
Yeah.
So
You're an
yeah.
institution.
There were so many like epic or like legendary moments. You know, it started off with the first Seatstory Cup with the casting with Aptosis and Preparian.
Is that George?
And they always have like a team as well, you know, like a freaking Egyptian team or like a Christmas team or whatever. I don't even know the team for this Seatstory Cup, but they always pull something amazing.
You mean some kind of theme? You mean okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
For the entire
gotcha.
band.
Then they
What
do
would
like
it
the
be?
mini games. For the one they did like Secret Santa.
Yeah.
It's got to be Boomsday Project related, right? You got to imagine it's got to be something with expansion. Maybe a laboratory. They like decked out the entire place, being some kind of laboratory.
That'd
Could
be
be
fun.
Yeah, that'd be definitely fun. Well, anyways, good luck, man. It'll be fun watching you. Just on air, and hopefully they'll actually show you whenever they say they're showing you. Like I know you've been a victim of that a couple times, but Seatstory, we'll at least see you on the couch. A few times. That's the beauty of Seatstory. The players do the casting too, at least with the main casters who.
Mhm.
Probably going to be is probably Raven and Sottle again, or some of the
I think
UK crew.
It's not Sottle. It's
not Sottle.
Raven. No, I think it's Raven, Lothar.
Okay.
And no, it's not Falk because all the Brits are doing.
Lorinda is going.
Yeah, they're doing HGG.
Is it
right?
Lori?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Raven is like pulling some insane schedule to be able to do HGG and Seatstory, but Sottle was like, nah, I'm not doing that.
Over it. Not gonna do that. Yeah. Makes sense. But tune into that, guys. Check it out. Always support that event. It's always one of the great ones in our community, and helping it continue is very, very important. Okay, well, next bit of news is not really so much. Well, actually, no, there was some mechanic changes, right, that they announced. that's I guess worth mentioning and talking about a little bit, which was the developer insight 12.0 or whatever, the game mechanics update. Talked a little bit about changes like just really changing the tribal stuff, like ghostly chargers, not beasts.
This patch is happening. I don't know if you mentioned it. It's happening next week, Thursday.
Okay, so next Thursday.
Okay.
I asked Blizzard and they confirmed it because I wanted to know if it's gonna be live for Seatstory Cup. Because one change is very important. It is the Azalina change.
Yeah, the Azalina. Why don't you explain that just for folks that don't?
Because you keep the buffs. For example, you can after the change copy a 1-mana Shadow Walk, and it is actually interesting for some strategies.
You could Azalina and play like 3 Shadow Walks immediately.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah. As a counter to it?
You don't copy like obviously the battle cries from Shadow Walk, but you can actually do some cool strategies.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have the live drinking aspect of it, so but
yeah. Okay, like one cool combo is like you can play Deadman Sand Warrior actually, and you play the infinite of the. You can basically out armor the life drinkers. You can get more armor with the Shadow Walks than a shaman can do with 9 Shadow Walks.
Oh,
that's really
it's super cool.
Because you get the battle cry off of what's his face, the 2 minutes you yeah.
Oh yeah, true. You do get that.
Dragol, no, the armor.
The one that gives you armor per your opponent's
the armor
jabroni.
Yeah, armor jabroni. That guy.
And the cool thing is, because if the opponent plays like 9 Shadow Walks, right, he will have a full board, so you will always get the maximum armor.
Yeah.
Which is 14. So, and then you play 9 Shadow Walks with every time 14 armor. It's super cool.
They just can't win.
Yeah, it's so cool. Because they will die to fatigue. And you play Deadman Sand, you have infinite resources.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Is there any other application that you can think of that would be impactful? More so than just
if you play like your own life drinkers, for instance, then you would just
no. I mean, obviously the Shutterwalk is an interesting thing, but is there any other impacts to some of these changes that you can think of? I can't really think of anything. Yeah. So with the
a lot of them are
strictly
tribes.
Yeah. But most of it is about just retaining the buff. So, definitely take a look at this. I'll link it in the chat right now, and you guys can, the Kelsit buffs I think are the biggest things that people were wondering about. So they announced that. Another thing that that I think they released was they have a Boomsday Project comic now, which kind of reminds me of the comics that they've been doing for Overwatch, the last year or two. And I think did they do one for last one? They might have already done one for the previous. I'm trying to remember if they did a comic before. Is this the first? This is the first comic.
You're thinking about Overwatch for sure.
Yeah. This is the first comic for Hearthstone, right? So, it's pretty cool. It's very, like similar in style, or at least I think it's pretty similar. They have. I don't know if they're going to have different artists like the Overwatch ones do. I think they're going to keep with the same kind of just artists and writers, I think, for this one, but it's really good.
It says number 1 of 3, so at the very least we'll be getting 3.
Yeah, the question is whether we'll have a different artist or not. For each one. I'm hoping we have the same one.
I would love a physical copy.
Yeah, they do have them. I mean, the Overwatch ones, there's physical copies, so like you can.
I have the compendium.
Oh, nice.
For the Overwatch comics.
Yeah. Right.
They printed them all together.
Nice. I don't have all of them. That's. I need to get that one of these days.
It's nice. They hardbound it and.
Oh, they hardbound it too.
Like one book.
Wow,
yeah.
That's nice. That's super nice. So it's just like one entire book. Man, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, take a look at this. It's really great. I mean, it's cool that they're using this Boomsday Project as a way to kind of expand the, kind of IP and the themes of this, because there's always been a lot of potential for, Hearthstone just to be more than just the cards. And I think now that they're, definitely veering away from World of Warcraft, with or at least feeling more free to do so, I think now we're starting to get some unique content, which is really exciting.
We're getting characters and story.
I know. Wow.
I love it.
Definitely. Okay, well, anyways, enough of that stuff. Let's talk about the cards, right? That's what everybody wants to talk about for the most part. So we've had, oh man, how many cards is this? This is somewhere in the realm of 16 cards, I believe. So 15 or 16 cards. And that's since the last time we had a show, which was Thursday. And not too much happened over the weekend, to be honest. So a lot's happened in the last 24 hours. We had a lot of cards announced. And we had the stream with Brian Kibler, and Peter Whalen yesterday. Did you guys catch that stream? See it live?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes. All of its
all of
issues
it. A little regretting all of
and
it.
shortcomings, but it was a good stream. Kibler always does.
Yeah.
Peter is so entertaining.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of people were really worried when Ben obviously left the team to go do his own thing, but I think Peter does a really nice job.
Yeah, definitely. Peter's a fun guy. I love how they started with him being a chicken, and the whole poulterizer or whatever, having to undo that. So that was a lot of fun. I think they announced 8 cards during that stream. Showing some gameplay from all of them, which is obviously really nice in terms of explaining what they do. But let's start with our first 3 here, which is it's not going to be in order of which they were released. It's just kind of like a general order. So we've got 2 priest cards here and a mage. So the first one is an Omega card. It's a 3 mana, 3/4 Omega Medic, rare card, battle cry. If you have 10 mana crystals, which is the Omega theme, restore 10 health to your hero. So this card is pretty interesting. I mean, I feel like this card has made me just kind of like, I don't know, it's almost like an aha moment with the Omega cards, because before I was just kind of like, these cards are just like so, or they're really either going to be, one-dimensional and not that interesting. But the fact that they're giving them bodies that at least vanilla bodies that match what a decent body would be at that mana cost makes it actually a decision. Like playing Omegas on a 3-drop for 3/4 maybe against aggro is the right thing to do, right? And I think having that choice between late game and or still maintaining this great late game value and being to play like a cheap card that's early is a pretty cool dynamic for a card. So what do you guys think of this? Cora, you like this card? You think it's our first healing that we've had in a long time too, like a large amount of healing?
I do like it. Priest has had conditional large bursts of healing in the past. I believe their Cthulhu Disciple, I forget the exact name, had something like if your Cthulhu has above 10 attack, gain a certain amount of life. So we've had that condition in the past, but this is a condition that is much easier to play with, I think, because it is simply if you have 10 mana crystals, you don't have to include any additional cards in your deck, and the fact that it is a nicely statted 3 mana cost minion in itself, I think would make it a pretty easy conclusion in most control priest decks. So I like it.
Gaara, what's your take?
All right, first I want to start off with the card art. I think it is the ugliest card so far.
Oh my!
By far.
What?
Like, look at this. What is this?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Okay.
Come on, bro.
Wow. Okay, what is that? That's a good point.
All right.
I'm not sure what
Second
that
of
is.
all,
Okay.
it's a pretty decent card. Obviously, it's not so good to play a spider tank without synergies right now on free, but it's like just something to jam on the board. It's extremely good once you reach 10 mana. It's like a very flexible freaking Reno. It's very good, but right now I wouldn't be sure in what kind of deck I would want to play this card in. Like in the My Blast Priest, you want to play the Dragon Synergies. You probably don't have the slot for that. In Quest Priest, I'm not so sure if you need the healing.
That's where I think I'd put it.
Yeah, I think you would. I mean, I think the quest. It depends. It depends what all this death rattle stuff ends up.
But the deck
being
has
at the
already
end.
like really like the most ridiculous late game here, like with the
but why not
quest.
have more, man? Like,
Yeah, but
a lot of
it's
these.
like control priest. I think like just generic control priest is not a thing because you're like lacking the win condition. But this would be like a card for that kind of archetype. So
Yeah,
like,
if there's a fatigue kind of priest, this card is amazing, right? So I wonder if we'll get to that point where there is some element of that. Doesn't look like it so far. Like right now, it's very heavy.
it's a
on the
good
death
card, of
rattle.
course.
Yeah, this is a really great card. If you compare it to something like Antique Healbot, just even from before, it's like more heal, better body, and in the end, I think it's just cheaper. Like I mean, it's going to be like a cheaper heal, for the most part. Whenever you would use Antique Healbot, anyways, right?
The
Maybe
big issue there, though, is does Priest really need this card? Warlock would love this card,
Oh my god.
but does
Yeah.
Priest really need it?
Yeah. We'll definitely have to see. The next one is a Priest card too. So it's a 5 mana, 4/6 body, Reckless, Experimenter, Epic, Death Rattle Minions. So a lot of people I know read this or when they were looking at the card, they thought this was like Death Rattle : This is actually just Death Rattle minions you play cost 3 less, but die at the end of your turn. So you get a discount on Death Rattle minions, but at the end of the turn they die. So lots of thoughts going through people's heads, right, as to ways they can, try to maximize the value for this. And I think the key thing to realize from this is that they die at the end of your turn, not when you just play them. So it's not like you're, using play dead on them or anything like that. So you still have to plan out how these minions die, and you also lose the minions. So Gaara, your first take on this?
I think they're really pushing Quest Priest. Quest Priest has already seen play, but it's probably like around like tier 2.5 free deck. It's probably like just too inconsistent. And with those two cards, like the Omega Medic and this guy, it's like a huge buff. Like, as you said, there's a ridiculous amount of survivability for Quest Priest. And for Quest Priest, you don't care if your minions die. You play like Loot Hoarders and stuff. You just want to get these minions out as fast as possible. You just and you resummon them with the 3 mana spell, and just to complete the quest as fast as possible. And with this guy, you will just complete the quest super quickly, and that's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
And then I don't know. It's very scary to buff a deck like Quest Priest, because playing against it is not the most fun. My personal playing experience is worse than Shadowrock Shaman. I'd rather play against that deck than Quest Priest.
The one that just keeps healing, and then you have medics now that you can balance,
because
right?
you will lose.
It's gonna be impossible to kill
decks,
Priest.
but it will last like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I also don't think that they want a large amount of Quest Priests running around on ladder, because if you queue into each other and play it correctly, the game always ends in a draw.
Yeah,
nobody will win.
That's right.
If you both Benedictus, you just have too
And
many
nobody
cards.
will concede. So you have to play it out. That sounds like a bad game.
It's very frustrating.
That's awful. Yeah.
This card also, though, I think not only will it quest completion, but it'll help you accelerate to the board. You can play this with Devil Sore Eggs, and you can get 5/5s for free, essentially.
That's insane.
I'm trying to think what else you could play with Cube in some way, and duplicate minions on board. So I think if this sticks, this is very scary.
Yeah, I think if it sticks, it's scary. I still think it's not as good as everybody's talking about. I mean, it's great. Don't get me wrong. It's super good, but it's not as good because you do lose that body. There's something to be said to be no. It doesn't matter.
But as long as you're playing minions that leave.
Yeah, it doesn't matter in the case of the eggs, right? But with Cube, it's not like you're like play deading and you're getting an extra set of Death Rattle minions from it.
But you resurrect them. Like you play.
Okay.
You have the 3 mana resurrect spell. Yeah, it's insane mana cheat if you want to look at it that way. You just play on 5 and then the train starts. You keep drawing cards because Loot Hoarders and stuff die.
Yeah.
You keep resurrecting. It's just a snowball.
Plus, it's just got good stats.
And
it's got great stats for sure. Yeah, it's going to be
insane.
not the easiest thing to kill. I can see it sticking like 25%.
I like the idea of Priest having a combo activator, and I think that this could be the combo activator. You play this, stick a Velen, and then you have a cube that you can play on the same turn as your Velen, and OTK potential with this card too. Maybe it doesn't just go in Quest Priest. It's
like Priest is Hunter or Houndmaster Shaw type of thing. It's like once you get it down, if it sticks, then you're doing some insane things. Yeah. So this card, I think, is getting a lot of people, thinking about obviously Death Rattle Priest and different ways to manipulate that. But
I really hope they playtested this card. Else, it's probably better to reduce it to 1 mana. There's like some card that only reduces it like to the lowest cost, it being 1 mana. Like this could easily be just busted.
I mean, if you play it, I mean, like on turn 10, you're potentially just dumping your entire hand. Right?
You could dump your hand on 5.
If you have like small ones, sure. Like if you have eggs and Loot Hoarders and things like that.
Priest does mainly play cheap Death Rattle minions. You play the 1 mana Death Rattle, the whatever it's called, the Crystallis. You will play X,
Crystalline
you will play
Oracle.
Loot Orders, you will play Tarnus. Like you will probably only play cheap Death Rentals because you can just, play
They
your
play
hand.
Bone Drake too.
Drake, which one? Oh yeah, the
Bone
Bone
Drake.
Drake. Oh, Bone Drake.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because they're playing Dragon Activators right now. They're playing Dragon Synergy build.
Yeah, but you're
But it's
okay. So
really
you're
inconsistent.
drawing. So like all of those cards that we're talking about there are all draws, except for like an egg. So I mean, you're cycling.
And then
is
you
it kind of like an
resummon your-
auctioneer then in a way? It's
It's insane. It's
yeah,
really,
yeah.
really.
It's
Yeah.
very different angles and ways to look at this card. So that's what's pretty exciting about it and very dynamic about it.
I mean, because you can also high roll, right? Like if your hand is like double egg, suddenly you play this guy on 5, and you play double egg, and suddenly you have like 2 5/5s. It's
Yeah.
the high roll potential is insane.
That play is the most obvious one, I think, in terms of even just playing, swinging tempo on the board. But a lot of those other ones, they're just drawing for you. So you're actually not impacting tempo on the board, like except for this body. This body is so good. That's one of the main things. Like just the 4/6 by itself plus whatever you get from it is very, very nice. Okay, so the next thing we have here is a mage, 4-mana spell, unexpected results. Oh boy, I wonder what this means, guys. Unexpected results. Epic, and summon 2 random 2-cost minions that are improved by spell damage. Is basically, all right, so combos here, guys, like crazy combos you guys can see in the future.
Didn't they drop a 2-mana 2/1 that's like the next spell you play has +2 spell damage that turn?
Not today.
They dropped that. I wonder if that works with this card.
Of course.
Oh man.
I mean,
Then
it
that
should.
could be pretty good.
Man.
You would get 6 mana for 2 4-drops is it's okay. There's some bad 4-drops.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. What do you think, Gar?
Some pro players actually said this is like the best card ever. Because it's easy to upgrade, right? It's just 1 spell damage. It's like
well,
pretty
any
easy.
amount of spell damage and it'll stack.
Yeah.
If you have 1 spell damage on board,
Right.
you have 2, it's 4.
It's tempo wise just insane. The word random is in it, but you would probably play this in some kind of tempo mage deck, and then you play this card, and then you have 4/6 drops. Maybe even with Sorcerer's Apprentice, you play this for 3 mana or whatever, and that will be just unstoppable tempo.
Playing all the
Wild. With Dalaran Aspirant, this is sweet.
Oh my god, yeah, that's true. That would be pretty sweet. I mean, are you playing all the like arcane missiles and cinderstorms and stuff like that too, or like that sort of tempo mage, right?
Yeah.
It's just it's too easy to upgrade it. I think that's the problem. Like if you think about it, a 4 mana, 2 random 2-drops, that's already okay.
Yeah.
That's like a bad call to arms.
Yeah, exactly. -1 to call to arms.
But if you upgrade it once, it's already insane.
But when
Upgrading
when one of the cards that comes out can discount your stuff, that's really good, right? And
That's true.
yeah.
You can rip Radiant and Sorcerers with it.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably already playing Sorcerer's Apprentice in the deck that you want to play this card in.
It's a pretty solid. I can see this card being good from day one. Like
And you
people are
probably-
going to be
yeah,
running
you
this
can
card
now
like crazy.
Module Glyph as well.
Yeah.
So that's a indirect buff.
Yeah.
It's pretty insane.
Yeah, totally. Okay, well, 3 pretty solid cards right off the bat we started with, and we got a lot more that could to come here. So let's kind of go on to the next 3 here. We've got a Paladin spell. That's the legendary spell, actually, for a Paladin. 7 mana, resurrect 3 friendly mechs, and I said Paladin, guys. I didn't say priest. I said Paladin, resurrect 3 friendly mechs, and they keep any magnetic upgrades that were on them when they died. So yeah, this feels like, the Spellstone, right, for priest, but obviously it has to do with mechs, but you get to keep magnetic upgrades. So that's really good. This is a really, really good card. I'm trying to think of what type of Paladin you would want to play it in, though. Any thoughts?
Yeah, first, it's difficult to evaluate because nobody has ever played a single game of magnetic Paladin, mech Paladin, the new magnetic. Like you know, you don't know how it feels like, yeah, how difficult you will get to get max out, how powerful the max will be, how well this fits in curve, how the deck is built. On paper, it's crazy amount of stats because it's like split value. It's very good. You get like multiple bodies on board. It's kind of like an upgraded priest resurrect spellstone, like you said, and you don't have to upgrade it. So it's always upgraded. All you have to do is draw this card and play this card for 7 mana. So it's very, very powerful. And if you high roll, because you will probably upgrade like cheaper max, so the cheaper max will also be more powerful. So I think on average you will just get really powerful max back. And this is like right after board clear. So you will have a board full of max, the opponent clears it with like whatever, Defile, Spell Power, whatever, good Joffrey, and then right after you resummon the board. I think it's going to be very, very powerful, just in theory.
Pretty much all cards that historically have been able to build a board for one card have been very powerful. So I Paladin has always been a board-centric class. I don't see how this could be bad, unless we just get some really horrible mechs, but that doesn't seem to be the trend so far.
No, yeah, I don't see that either. And you get to you're basically getting upgraded mechs too, which is like really incredible for 7 mana. Yeah, this is Call to Arms on steroids potentially at 7. So we'll have to see if we can support that to some degree leading up to this. One thing to mention too, we only talked about 4 cards, but these 4 cards seem to be really good for Arena too. Like that's the one thing I've seen with all these cards. They seem to be good in both Arena and Standard, where sometimes, you get one that's good in Standard because, it requires a certain kind of combination of cards. But these are just really great value. I don't know if you guys agree or not with that.
All of the Omegas are going to be so good in Arena.
Oh, God, yeah. Going to be crazy.
So good. And Viva Pinata. That's going to be good too.
Yeah, we say that one.
But we'll get to that.
Yeah, we say that one for the end.
Can't wait for Crypt to get salty about some Omega cards in Arena.
I saw him tweet about this Omega one. Why don't we just jump to this Omega one, then we'll come back to the rogue card. So we've got our Warlock Omega, and for those that might not have heard, I think Peter talk about it, or I think it was Peter that was talking about it. But there isn't going to be an Omega for every single class. So Druids won't have Omega, thank goodness. They won't have a crazy Omega card, and it'll only be for certain classes. So Warlock's one of those lucky classes. They have a 5 mana, 4/5 Omega Agent Epic Battlecry. If you have 10 mana crystals, summon 2 copies of this minion. And again, this retains any kind of hand buffing that goes on inside your hand. So, it gets buffed by Keleseth, whatever. You cast it twice, basically. So kind of like Doppelgangster in a way. But, you're going to be casting 2. What you guys think of this? In Standard and, Arena sounds great, but in Standard, what do you guys think?
I start again.
Sure, yeah, go for it.
All the other Omega cards, this looks like the weakest one, I think, so far.
Yeah.
Just because also stat-wise, for example, if you compare it to the Priest one, a 3 mana 3/4 is much better than a 5 mana 4/5. Also, Warlock has like really good 5 mana plays, like Skull of the Manari, which just wins you the game. And this is not a demon, so also like the current Warlock lists are very stacked. Like if you look at Zoo, Even Lock, and Cube Lock, 3 very powerful Druid Warlock archetypes, you wouldn't play this card, and it just doesn't make sense. So it doesn't have a demon tribe, it doesn't have OP stats. I don't see this card being played at all.
What do you think?
I could see this in Zoo, but I don't know where you would put it. With the current 5 mana slots being Doomguard and Funglemancer, this doesn't take a spot of either of those. So it's kind of the issue of it's a very good card if it's turn 10 and if you can find a deck that can really utilize it. But
right,
I don't know that deck exists right now. Maybe we'll get more of a mid-range style of Warlock that isn't as board focused as Zoo, but not quite as slow as like a Control Warlock.
Yeah, comparing this one to the Omega Agent, there's a night and day. Like sorry, not the Omega Agent, the Omega Medic. Let's just look at the Omega Medic, right? The body is so good here, right? It matches at least the 3 mana. Here, the 5 mana. What if this was a 4 mana card? Are we talking about it's much more playable if it was a 4 mana card?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
You could play that in Even Warlock. That's insane.
You're still only going to generate 2, but then you'd have them leftover mana, obviously, to do some more stuff. So, yeah. I think it's like easily played. If it's 4, it's tough to play. It's 5. So maybe they should have changed the stat line a little bit.
The problem with this card is really that you only want to play it for 10 mana. Like,
yeah, right.
always before that is bad.
5/5? Maybe the correct way of going about it would have been a 5/5 instead.
Maybe.
It's a little bit closer. It's basically Echo. This is just Echo, like for the most part.
Granted, the class that can do best with having a card in hand that they don't want to play until turn 10 is Warlock, because they're going to be drawing so many additional cards.
Okay, yeah.
So, I don't know.
All right, we got the middle card, Lab Recruiter. This is another one that was, I think, causing a lot of discussions, a lot of theory crafting here. We've got a Rogue card that's 2 mana, 3/2 body, common. Battlecry, shuffle 3 copies of a friendly minion into your deck. So kind of sounds like Gang Up, but we got a body here, and lots of interesting things that we can do. Still don't have a Cold Light Oracle, but I think we can still do some cool things here. Cora, what do you think? Anything you can think of right away?
Well, there's so much potential with this. There's potential with this card, and then the legendary spell for Rogue, which is just draw the rest of your deck.
Yep.
So you could essentially target with this card and make the rest of your deck whatever you want it to be. You know, if you just want Felderized Striders, so you can have infinite spider boards, you can do that in the late game with this card and with the Rogue legendary spell. So I think it's going to take some time to figure out the best way to use this, but it is just a 2 mana 3/2, which is fantastic. And it's an effect which was in the game before, and I think we have been missing a little bit.
Yeah. Definitely, again, kind of dynamic where it can be used in the beginning or it can be used, late game as a crazy value card. Gaara, any kind of abuses you see outside of what Cora mentioned there?
It's basically Baleful Banker on super steroids. It does the same but better stats, and you shuffle 3 minions into your deck. So we don't see any Baleful Banker Rogue deck, but they're definitely like above to Kingsbane Rogue. I can see like a weapon, like in super late game, you can go Valera and you copy a weapon buff minion, and then you have every weapon buff minion that you draw, you can replay twice with Valera, so you can really make an infinite attack weapon more easily.
Yeah, the shadow cards that's
wow. Okay. That's interesting.
I don't know if you played this card as a 2-off or as a 1-off, but
you might not need 2 of them. Yeah, 2 of them might be overkill, at least in that kind of deck. But...
It is sort of Dead Man's Hand-esque Rogue, if Rogue ever wants to go that route.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Copy itself. Yeah. That's true.
Definitely. You will see people come up with some combo decks with this for sure. Yeah, you can just fatigue someone. Right, you can copy this guy. If you play it twice, it's basically Dead Man's Hand, right? You just copy himself. And then you copy him again. It's like basically 2 Baleful Bankers, but much easier to pull off because you can figure them, and then you can use them on other stuff as well. Like if you use those 2 and Wildspine Slayer, you basically have also infinite removal. You can do stuff.
Yeah, there are a lot of really good minions right now in Rogue, right? Bossman being one of them, and
but Kingsbane Rogue is like the most like close to fatigue Rogue what we have, because that deck essentially tries to fatigue you because you have the weapon.
Like it tries to fatigue you at the same time it kills you. It's got an interesting dynamic that way, and it heals himself. So it's pretty rough playing against that if you give it enough time. So does this speed it up? I don't think this speeds it up necessarily. So it's still pretty slow, that deck.
We will have Quest Priest and Kingsbane Rogue.
Can you imagine that?
Killing all day is gonna have a party.
Oh gosh, that would be brutal. We're talking literally draw games, like those type of decks
this
going
infinite
against each other.
Value.
Yeah, just like complete draw games.
It's looking like a very slow meta. Very slow.
Which everybody's wanting.
Then you have Meg Paladin killing people.
I think it's Meg Paladin's fast. I'm not even sure, like given how much stuff we're talking about here. Okay, so we're gonna get off some of the classes cards, and we're gonna get to the cute common cards, or at least one of them's cute. The cute mascot of this expansion is got to be Faithful Lumi here, which is a 1-mana 1/1 mech. Battlecry, give a friendly mech +1/+1. The text is pretty good, actually. The text is not bad at all, to be honest.
It's just a good card.
Yeah, I think it's just good, but he's cute too. He's got like a light bulb head, or he's got like this blue light bulb head or something. So, Kara, on a scale of 1 to 10, cute factor of this one.
I'm gonna give it a 9.
9? Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9.
Is it because of the lack of face? Is that why, or is it...
The lack of face could be interpreted as somewhat creepy, but the fact that it's like it's got its arms out, it looks like it's going in for a hug. I'm like, oh,
okay.
I want to hug it too. I like it more than I like Snowflake Penguin. I think it's cuter.
Yeah, it's much better than Snowflake Penguin too.
Oh yeah, it actually does something,
Yeah.
and the usefulness definitely bumps up for 2.
Yeah. So, do you think it is something that people are going to be playing as 1-drops? I mean, they're not going to play. Well, they're not going to play as a 1-drop on turn 1.
It's not a 1-drop
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
issue. I don't know. It depends on if we get things that really interact with that mech tag. If we have something like a Tinkmaster or oh gosh, what was his name? Tinkertown Technician, something like that, or something like a Cogmaster, which
Yeah.
gain abilities when there's a mech in the hand or on the then maybe that would encourage you to have a mech out as early as possible, and this card would be the obvious choice from what we know right now. But it's not a 1-drop necessarily. So I don't know. I think it is good though. In rush mech decks, I think you'll definitely see it.
It feels like, when Hand Paladin was supposed to be something in Gazan, and this is like one of the Paladin cards for whatever reason. It's hard to play these type of cards, and have them be effective, just because the body itself is so bad, right? And it doesn't really have much of a presence on the board as an extra body. And these days, going wide seems to be the way to go with aggressive decks. Gaara, what's your take?
I don't know. Like, we've seen the 7-mana Paladin card. You don't want to resurrect this guy, that's for sure.
Oh gosh, that's true. Yeah.
And like, we don't see like a more aggressive mech kind of deck. It feels like mech decks will be more like mid-rangey from what I've seen so far. Like, I feel like the 2-mana mech upgradable framebot, the 2-mana 1/5 mech will be like the core of the mech decks, and you want to like magnetize him. And playing that guy plus this guy, is that good enough? I don't know. You make
2/6.
your 2/6 for 1 mana. Like, if your like win condition is really something like the 7-mana legendary, then you just will not play this guy. But in a more, maybe you can play some super hyper aggressive deck, maybe like odd Paladin max, and then you want to play something like this. But yeah, other than that, you will see this a lot from packs because it's a common.
Yeah, none of the mechs have seemed crazy aggressive to me. Like, none of them are charged, right?
Yeah.
They're all.
And the warrior one has all your mechs have rush,
but it's not charged. It's still good.
this one is-
Yeah, it's still good, but it's not the kind of tempo pressure that we get with just some of the decks we see right now. I haven't seen the minions to kind of support that level of aggression.
And it has bad synergy with magnetize, because you cannot magnetize with this guy, but you can only magnetize him. So, but his effect is battle cry, so you kind of need another mech as well, and then magnetize him. It's awkward.
I mean, in a way, he's kind of like a magnetized, except for he has a body instead. He remains as a body, right?
Yeah,
So
but if you want to magnetize him, you need another mech to get value out of the battle cry. It's probably not good enough.
It's clunky.
Just from the
And clunky
information
is
we
generally
have.
not good, right? So
Maybe an aggressive odd paladin with like divine favor that just wants to dump the hand really quickly.
okay,
You'd probably play this.
yeah, play 2 of them.
A lot of it depends on what the other mechs in the set look like. We haven't seen all that many so.
I mean, if you play 2 of these and you get them, in the first turn, I mean, you're talking about what, a 2/1 or 2/2 and a 1/1, right? So
If we get a card that transforms the paladin hero into a mech,
yeah,
this will be fantastic.
That's true.
Something
That could
Vile
be
Fit
cool.
Inquisitor-esque.
All right, a different thing. They will play this card in wild
A silver
because we
hand
know
mechanic.
there's cheap mechs in wild.
Mech Warper, free Lumis
Oh,
all day.
yeah, exactly. Mech Warper is going to be an insane card with all these mechs that we're talking about. All kinds of combos with Mech Warper. All right, moving on. We got another non-class card here, 5 mana. It's a 2/1 body, Giggling Inventor. It's a rare card, Battlecry. Summon 2 1/2 mechs with Taunt and Divine Shield. So,
Annoyotron's back in standard.
yeah, exactly. You're getting 2 of them. So, it's pretty good. I mean, you're going to get three bodies out of this. And essentially, with a Divine Shield, I mean, you're basically, creating a board that takes 5 hits to get rid of, right? In terms of minions. This sounds pretty good to me. I mean, any kind of aggressive deck, this is like a 1-card fill your, it's like you were talking before, Cora, right? Any card that just fills the board for you, it's going to be good.
I mean, assuming that it is just Battlecry summon 2 Annoyotrons, they're 2 mana 1/2s. So you get 2 2-mana cards plus, 1 mana 2/1 for 5 mana. So that's 3 cards in 1. That's really good. I could see this in any deck that just wants stuff on the board to buff. So anything that's playing Fungalmancer. I could see this, obviously my head immediately goes to evolve mechanics, but the only real evolve mechanics that we have left are, I guess, Thrall Deathseer is pretty much it. But, maybe that gives some incentive for Shaman to play a different style of deck. I don't know. It's obnoxious, and I'm sure people are going to hate this card. But it has so much flavor. It has so much fun.
What do you think of this in an aggro, Gaara? Like, Odd Pally, like, throw this down and hope you get, like, a Sunkeeper Tarim, off of your Stonehill. I mean, that's...
No, I think Fungalmancer is just better in a tempo deck. I think this is more like a defensive card.
Okay.
I was thinking about Big Spell Mage because you get the 2/1 body, so in late game you can play this and ping yourself and get like a water elemental. And it is you don't have good minions in the 5 mana slot defensive wise. It's like there's no good 5 mana minion right now in the game. So this could be good enough. Like late game synergy, and it's just annoying to get through. It can stop like big clunky minions as well. It's just annoying.
Because Big Mage is playing the Keysmith, but the Keysmith is, it's okay. It's not really an anti-aggro card. This card would be, I think, really good in that slot.
You know what you do is you play this and you play Blood Knight, like on turn 8, and get a 9/9.
Oh, God.
That'd be fun. Okay, well, let's move on to the next 3 cards here, and we've got more priest cards, just lots of priest cards recently. So we've got a 2 mana cloning device spell. It's a common card. Discover a copy of a minion in your opponent's deck. So you get to discover something. It's not completely random. So gonna be a pretty high chance that you get something good if you get 3 chances at it. What are some elements that you see? Obviously we could get a Shutterwalk. That'd be pretty cool. Or something. It's a minion, so it's not it's not every single card. It's just definitely minions. There's a lot of minion centric win conditions right now. So any ones that you can think of that are generally not priest that priest would love to have?
I think that's irrelevant. I think this card is just absolutely broken.
It's irrelevant? What do you mean it's irrelevant? Like,
it's just get something good from your opponent. Like you're thinking too complicated. Yeah, like some getting like Grimash or whatever. Like Straza, I don't know. There's like good.
That's high end of it, right? Like high end of it's like amazing.
But I was thinking about if they print just one cheap Death Rattle minion, Quest Priest would be so broken. And this is like a very good cheap Death Rattle minion. Like I think the mech tag is kind of like cute, but I don't think this is relevant.
I mean, this is a terrible card in aggro. This is a terrible card against aggro, right?
What? Yeah, but
it's only good against control, like this card, right?
Wait, are we talking about the same card?
Are we?
Are you guys on the same page right now? We're talking cloning device.
I was talking a bit.
Okay, yeah.
No.
Yeah, we must be talking.
I think he was on Dead Ringer.
Oh, you're on Dead Ringer. Oh, okay. No. We're talking about the first one, the spell. The spell.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I think cloning device is quite bad.
Yeah.
If it was discover a copy of a minion from your deck, then you open up combo potential with multiple Radiant Elemental.
Right.
That's very good. Discover a copy of a minion from your opponent's deck. I would rather just play any 2-mana cost minion on that turn.
Yeah, like you said, it's too bad with this aggro, right? You cannot afford to spend 2 mana to copy a bad minion.
Yeah.
And against control, priest doesn't need your minion. Just play something, you would just take that, I think.
I mean, I'd just be dreaming about getting Shutterwalk or getting like, I don't know, Hadronaut or something. I don't something crazy like that. Or but yeah, for the most part, I think there's too many situations this card is just terrible. But moving on to the one that is good, and yeah, I think you're right. It's the 2-mana 2/1 mech Dead Ringer common card. Death Rattle. Draw a Death Rattle minion from your deck.
It's so insane.
Yeah, that's just good.
Very good.
It's better than Loot Holder.
Yeah. You could just
because you draw a Death Rattle minion. Again, you can just draw 2 of them, just spam it. It's so broken. I don't know. That seems like such a mistake. Why would you just think about Quest Priest being tier 1. That's so bad. Like, if it's like a niche meme deck, that's great. There's some decks that just shouldn't be tier 1. Very similar to Shadowwalk Shaman.
Yeah.
Like, if it's a niche deck, it's cool. But like Shadowwalk Shaman being the best deck in the game, it's just so bad for the game. I think it's bad for the overall playing experience. I have no issue with people always think. I have no issue playing the deck myself, and just win. But it's so bad for playing experience,
I enjoy playing Quest Priest. I don't want to play Quest Priest against other Quest Priests, and for that reason, I probably won't be able to.
Yeah, you can't avoid that.
Like,
that's a bad condition.
Imagine that's the best deck in the game, and then you face 40% Quest Priest. You play 40% Quest Priest Mirror. People will quit the game.
40% of your time is wasted because you literally gain nothing.
Well, we've literally seen it happen, and we've actually seen it happen in competitive environments, right? So the fact that we're creating more potential combinations of these type of decks running into each other, it's just not good. We might be missing it. Maybe it's not as bad as we think.
It seems insane so
maybe.
far.
Yeah, so I don't think that this is something that they would have just overlooked. Like, we all know the Benedictus Priest is something that everybody kind of like knows about, but just doesn't talk about very much because we don't want people doing it a ton. But it's there already.
You're not going to play the deck without Benedictus.
Yes, that's right.
You just can't.
Right, and people wondering what we're talking about. It's just you can basically just keep healing with. And Benedictus obviously trades, grabs your opponent's deck, and then he grabs Benedictus. There's Benedictus is like continually in the game, like because of stuff like this.
Yeah, you will go to turn timer before anybody
exactly.
Game. So it is a draw if you play it correctly.
Right, and there's a cap now too on turns, right? So that's the main thing. So yeah, this card. I guess just kind of summing up again, this card's good. This card is just definitely good. It goes well with, the card we talked about earlier, the Reckless Experimenter, because it cycles, and you can get a better Death Rattle card. Kind of just work your way up.
But it's so crazy because this draws your Death Rattle, like for Quest Priest, like a Death Rattle minion on 2 that draws you a Death Rattle minion. That's actually so insane. Because that's what you want. You want to finish the quest as fast as possible.
It's a targeted loot hoarder. And it has the mech tag.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It definitely is. All right, next card we got is Warlock. We're just talking about Priest and Warlock today. There's like nothing else, guys. No. 2-mana spell, Demonic Project, common. Each player transforms a random minion in their hand into a demon. Okay, so this card at least is this is pretty fun. This is kind of cool.
Saving grace.
Yeah,
potentially
saving grace potentially because
seriously.
we can kill the Amaras and we can transform the Benedictus and the Amaras and stuff like that,
and the Shadowwalks
and stuff. So this one is meant to be essentially that one too. This is meant to be the dirty rat, Nosferatu-ish type of thing. If somebody has a 1-card win condition, this is meant to just completely destroy it. And you can run 2 of them. So, I like these kind of cards for sure. Do I like it as a spell? I don't know. And the whole point about the demon, is there actually anything good about, like maybe a warlock could abuse in terms of like changing something to a demon on their side? They're probably running demons
transforming
anyways.
into a demon is strictly attack.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't think the demon part is that big a deal. But yeah, how do you guys like this card? Compare it to something. Like, is it as good as Dirty Rat? Is it better?
The only annoying part is like Warlock, and I feel like Warlock Druid are getting like all the good cards all the time, and then Warrior gets some clunky 7-mana minion every expansion. Or like Control Mage gets nothing. Like, I wish they would spread the good cards between the classes a little bit more.
Well, dude, we still got like 80 90 cards to see.
But
So
if you look at like Warlock has, for example, so many good board clears that you don't even play half of them because you have so many.
yeah, but that's 2 or 3 expansions ago, right? Like these cards aren't. I mean, this card's fun and cool, but this card's not at the level of some of like the ones we saw from Kobolds and Catacombs. And
I think you will definitely try to make this work in a Control Warlock.
Mhm.
And Control Warlock is losing right now the hardest to Shadowwalk Shaman. So that's like another, like besides Gnome Ferrato, another way where you can just, RNG your way to victory.
Well,
I don't know if I like the design of such cards because obviously it's random, right?
yeah.
You might just not hit the Shadowwalk. He has it in hand and you just hit something else. Because the counterplay to it is just keep as many minions in your hand. But RNG in the end will decide if you will hit it or not. There's some skill aspect to it, obviously, when to use it. Like when you have a good read, like when he will have like, very few minions in his hand. But in the end of the day, even if there's only 2 minions in hand, it's still a 50-50 if you win or lose the game. Because if you hit the Shadowwalk, obviously that's the win condition of the Shaman deck. And if that gets like just changed into a random demon, they just lose. But I don't know. The design is definitely bad, obviously. It's bad design. Like, who are we kidding? From a competitive standpoint, sure. But it's good to have such cards in the game, else there's no counterplay to it.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to have these type of cards given the way that Hearthstone is designed. Corey, you like this? I mean,
I'm kind of torn on it. I like that there is counterplay to these absolute win conditions. I think there should be counterplay to these absolute win conditions. Otherwise, certain decks just have 0% matchups, which isn't the way that this game should be. But I don't know that this is the way to do it. Dirty Rat caused some really horrible games, horrible moments for players in big tournaments that, was really not a good time. And I feel like this we could also see be potentially detrimental. It's obviously very polar.
yeah.
But I don't know. I just feel like they haven't found the right way to allow counterplay around these certain cards. And not to mention, this is Warlock specific. Dirty Rat was neutral. Dirty Rat gave at least all of the classes the chance to high roll their way to wins against, nuts decks. This is strictly for Warlock.
Well, what's yeah, definitely for sure. And I think that maybe comparing to Dirty Rat isn't the best thing to do, and maybe comparing it to Gnome Ferrato, it might be a little bit better, because with the Dirty Rat situation, there was a risk reward to Dirty Rat, right? Like you could totally lose games too if you
could just lose the game.
Yeah. So this doesn't have that. I mean, obviously they can get a good demon, but like you don't see it, right? I'm trying to remember in the video, like in the stream, do you actually, you don't see the card, right? Like you don't even know.
You do.
Oh, you do see the card. I totally forgot about that. I didn't actually see that on the stream. The fact that you see it, then okay, that makes it basically equivalent to, it's not equivalent to Gnome Ferrato in the fact that it doesn't kill it, but you know what it is though, so you know if you changed it or not, and that's the biggest thing, right? So it would have been interesting if they didn't show it. I wonder if that would have been better, because you wouldn't know if you got the Shudderwalk or not, and you'd still be playing as if he still has it, right? And
it shows you what changes, and it shows you what it changes.
I know.
You know the demon.
Right, but it would have been interesting if they didn't show that. A little bit more interesting, so the player could choose just to concede or not. If they do miss that. But the fact that they show it, there's nothing compelling about that. Yeah, so nothing too, I guess, complicated about it, like complex about this card. It's just straight up there to screw up those one card conditions. And Warlock gets it, which Warlock didn't really need it, given that it already has so many ways to win. kind
Yeah,
of.
but it's I really prefer such cards should be neutral because it will be a
agree.
problem. Decks like Kingspan Rogue, this
Yeah.
Quest Pre, every class, every control deck should be having access to like a counterplay.
Yeah.
This is why it's so weird. Look, the greatest example is Voodoo Doll, in my opinion, because it was very important to have a neutral heart removal card. We had that with BGH. Then it got nerfed, and then we had none for 1 year, and then they brought it back with Voodoo Doll. So it's kind of like they see that we need that, but we still have like these time periods, where we have no counterplay. And it's coming back with like Dirty Red rotating out.
Yeah.
We need something like a Dirty Red, but then we get something like that, but in a class card. It's just wrong.
I mean, the issue is they are making sets so far ahead in advance that they don't exactly know what the community review will be once certain cards rotate out. They can't plan that far, so it's just taking time.
Yeah,
I just can't even think of like that this expansion was made like 2 years ago or something.
It's weird.
It's crazy to think about.
It is crazy, and I think that they at least allocate some space, right, to get some reactive type of cards into the expansions, and maybe Voodoo Doll is like one of those cards, right? And it's just something that we needed, but having to plan like months in advance, that's just super difficult, and like for us to expect them to be great with that, years, even a whole year in advance, that's just it's not feasible for them to get it right, like or at least right very consistently. So moving on, we've got some more mage cards here, given that you're saying mage needs some more stuff. So Astromancer is a epic 7-card or 7 mana 5/5 body battle cry. Summon a random minion with a cost equal to the number of cards in your hand. So we're talking about hand mage now. We have hand warlock. We've got hand druid after last expansion. Now we're talking about maybe hand mage now. Yeah. Interesting concept. Do you find yourself wanting to hold a lot of cards as a mage, Gaara, or like in a position where you want to?
The most interesting thing about this card is only that it's a 7-mana card. I think the 7-mana slot is really bad for most classes, and I would probably play this in a big spell mage. It doesn't have the drawback Spiteful Summoner has, but and it doesn't have the randomness, which is more important.
Yeah.
You could be playing, like you play the Dragon's Fire or Dragon's Fury, and you play like Flame Strikes, but it's random which one you hit, and then it's random what kind of minion you get. And with this, you can control what kind of minion or like mana cost you will get, which is great in my opinion. You only have like the randomness of what kind of minion you get. I think it's pretty good value. The best minion you can get is a 9-drop, because you have to play this from hand, right? And then you can only have 9 cards in your hand at maximum, which is pretty good. It's like really good value. I think it's great to have more late game options, especially for big spell mage. Right now, it's like the only control mage archetype. I don't see this too much to be. I've seen people theorizing about Alunef and this card. I don't think you want to play this in an Alunef deck ever. It's just too clunky. Imagine you have 2 of them. You just can't empty your hands. Like, I just can't see it. In the end, we will see this in an Alunef deck, but I just can't see it. Because you play Alunef in decks where you just want to empty your hand, right? And then this card you don't want to play this card and just get like 2 drops or whatever. Even though the value will not be too bad.
It's still solid, even if you get a 2-drop.
I
mean, it's not terrible.
I think it might be a bit too inconsistent in Alunef decks because it relies so heavily on Alunef, and you have 1 copy of it and currently no way to search it in mage builds. We've already had a little bit of like Book of Specters, Mountain Giant, Hand Mage action going on. I could see this slotting right into that deck. I think it makes pretty much perfect sense just to take the existing build and put 2 of this card in.
Is it better though? I mean, like the weaknesses for that deck has always been early game, so it doesn't really help that deck get any better, in my opinion. Just that deck that you're talking about, the hand mage Book of Spectre one. So there's a lot of work that it would need in the beginning, but it seems to fit really great into that. And 7 mana. You're right that there's not a lot of great 7 manas, but at the same time, 7 mana is like one of those turns that even if you get like a 2-drop or 3-drop, it's still decent. You need more these days. Like you need to get like at least a 5-drop or a 6-drop alongside of this 5/5, you know, to do well. And I think in a big spell mage, you generally do have that many cards. I don't think you have very few cards. You know, over 5 generally. I think when you're playing big.
You're
spell
looking
mage.
to hit a 6-drop or an 8-drop, pretty much.
Exactly. So I think this card's pretty
Also-
solid. I think this
Yeah,
they can
I
put
also
one
like
in there.
to just have options, you know, just not fill your deck with like bad 9-drops and 8-drops like Alanas and Aiseras, I don't even know, Marine the Fox. Just having like a faster late game card where you have the options to still play like super late game and be super greedy with it.
Yeah. That's true.
And just save cards in your hand. So it seems like a powerful card, but yeah, it's still like just against aggressive decks, like a very clunky card. Maybe you high roll, get a taunt minion, who knows, get a grizzly or something for the 5 mana slot, and suddenly you win the game.
All right, kind of moving over to the other mage card, and we kind of referenced this earlier. Right? It's a 2-mana, 2/1 elemental celestial emissary. It's a rare card. Battlecry. Your next spell this turn has spell damage +2. So yeah, that's, you know, it's a battle cry, so it can't just be like summoned or anything like that, right? So you're going to want to play it, but spell damage +2 is really good. Like that is extremely good with things like, you know, Arcane Missile, Frostbolt, you name it. I mean, it just it's worth the mana I think it's worth the body that you're giving up for you know, just comboing with the spell. So this is going to be auto add in Tempo Mage, Cora, do you think?
Not in Tempo Mage. I could see this in like, well, unless you're talking about like a mid-range elemental mage. I don't know. I'm thinking big with this. I'm thinking like AoE, not necessarily burn. Although, yeah, I guess this would have big burn.
Okay. I was thinking face,
big
you know,
burn
like your
implications.
explosive runes, all that good stuff, you know, like
Emissary instead of, I mean, it's 1 more damage than a hero power, so Emissary and Fireball the face, that's pretty good. But I'm thinking like, I don't know, in Control Mage, for instance, like Emissary and Flame Strike, Emissary and Dragon's Fury, clear up bigger boards even easier. But yeah, I guess it does have aggressive implications too.
Gaara, what'd you say? Control or aggro more?
A card like this can definitely lead to some unexpected results.
Okay, so lots of RNG cards. Is that what you're telling me?
No, unexpected results is the 4-mana card.
Yeah.
Oh, the 4-mana card. Yeah.
Cora got it. She's smart.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. Okay, I totally missed that one.
Unfortunately, if you compare it to Thanos, it's just worse for control. First, you are like Thanos is a 2-mana 1/1 spell damage on all your spells, and it draws you a card. It's just so much better for control, which makes me sad because control mage is my favorite archetype, and this is just too weak. Definitely 100% for control mage. We will see this card definitely being played in aggro because yeah, you can play this with a frostbolt, missiles, whatever, and it upgrades the unexpected results card. And yeah, card fits perfectly in that kind of new aggressive tempo mage, whatever. And maybe even the elemental tag might be relevant for something. Who knows?
I mean, for sure it's terrible in the control. I don't know if that. I mean, it's definitely not as good as Thalnos. I agree with you there, but what if
you could have
if you could put 2, exactly.
Thalnos,
I would play
would you?
2. Yeah.
You don't even play 1 Thanos. You don't even play Thanos right now.
I mean, it's like playing the
this card
Zealot.
Is worse than Thanos.
It's like playing the Zealot in Warlock, right? Like this is kind of. I mean, it's easier to kill this, but
Thanos is better than this, and you don't
it's
play
also
it.
just
Okay.
it's also just a 2/1, so it could be a water elemental.
We're not talking about playing it in the big spell mage this second, right? It could be something different, but
there's also like mid-range elemental build playing.
Yeah.
You know, some of those AoE spells. I don't know. Watch Kibler stream. See something.
He does
I was thinking about the
I'm damn
Blizzard
near
combo.
positive.
I was talking about the Blizzard combo. It's like you play basically an 8-mana Blizzard for 2 cards that is essentially a Flame Strike. No. It's not good. It's not good. For control, it's not good. You need value. Cards have to do something, especially like this card needs to be playable as a 2-drop because it's a 2-mana card. But it's absolutely not playable on turn 2. You will always ping over playing this. It's bad.
But you can do 17, 5, and 5 with. No.
I don't think the elemental tag is irrelevant. I think the elemental some playability.
Some element to it, yeah. Could be.
Yeah. Bonfire elemental and
yeah.
all that stuff.
It will be Smorg.
Yeah, it could be. And if you even if you just run
Could
like
be.
frostbolts and fireballs
Mhm.
in your elemental deck, who
Yeah.
knows? You could just get this out for cheap and just hit them in the face for an additional 2 to 4 damage. That'd be pretty awesome. Okay,
If you
so
would, okay. If you play the unexpected results also in big spell mage or control mage, then I can, because you have to play the spell damage minions. Then this is probably one of the better ones. Then it makes sense.
okay,
But as like,
I could see that combo in a mid range, like, with not necessarily with Book of Specters, but with like this card and with Unexpected Result and an elemental synergy. I think that might be okay.
because the card is just too good, the unexpected results.
I see, for me to be honest, I just see people playing the arcane missiles and the cinder storms and stuff like that with this. I seriously do. I think that people
If
at least-
Paladin is wild, then yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at least the first few days of the expansion, I can see people running this and
Just
those.
killing people.
Yeah, that mage is always popular in the very beginning of an expansion. It's like been like that the last 2 or 3 expansions now. Okay, moving on. Paladin, we got a secret. We got another secret for Paladin, which all you secret Paladin lovers out there, or at least back in the day, maybe still playing in Wild. We got a 1-mana auto defense matrix common secret. When one of your minions is attacked, give it divine shield. So it's kind of like noble sacrifice in a way. I mean, even better if it's a big minion, right?
Yeah.
So it's tempo wise, it's great. Like, but do we have room to play any secrets? I mean, would you play any secrets right now?
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
No, I
I
wouldn't.
don't think
Paladin secrets have always been bad when you have to play them from hand. They're good when
Yeah.
you get them off Hydrologist. They're good when you get them off Mysterious Challenger. I mean, like maybe if Bellringer Sentry is playable, then
Okay,
you would play it with this
okay.
card.
Yeah,
I think it's a good card. I just don't think you would play it.
yeah. I can't think of. There's got to be something for this thing, right? No, I mean.
I don't.
Arena, it's good. I remember I was having a little Twitter
that's fine.
Twitter conversation with Edwakta about this. Arena is definitely good, but standard, I can't think of anything for standard.
I was playing actually like in some period secret Paladin, because of the 3 mana guy. There's like this 3 mana Bill Jabroni.
Bellringer Sentry.
That's
Yeah.
what she thought. Yeah.
Yeah, but honestly, from Hydrologist, it definitely boosts Hydrologist, and right now I would play Hydrologist in like an even Paladin,
Oh,
and you
yeah.
have a very high chance to get this from Hydrologist. Definitely buff for the card, for the Hydrologist card. It's already a good card, and this is definitely better than Noble Sacrifice, because you can test Noble Sacrifice by hitting face, but with this only procs if you hit the minion, and obviously, like you said, it's only worse than Noble Sacrifice if you hit a 1/1 minion.
Right.
Only then, because
Yes.
then you deal take 1 less damage. But in all other cases, this is better. So it's so hard to make 1 mana secrets, because you can't make anything too powerful for 1 mana.
Yeah.
So this is really like cap in power level for 1 mana, I feel like.
Yeah.
I think it'll fit right into the deck and watch
Yeah. In Wild, I think it'd be
Mysterious
great.
Challenger builds. I think it's gonna be
Oh
sweet.
damn, son.
Yeah.
really good.
Incredible, right? Like it'll be fun to even be playing the deck and have to like navigate you wanting this to proc on the right thing too. That was what was always kind of fun about Mysterious Challenger decks, is just that it's like you got to be careful about what comes on the board and what you actually get like redemption on and all that stuff, right? So I think this is another one of those cards that just makes it really hard to play around, and it's fun. That's the only one thing fun about Hearthstone. So good. Definitely a good, solid card, at least in those formats. All right, moving on to the last few cards we got here. Whoops, not that one yet. We've got these two first, which are, okay, one came out today, which is the Zerek's one, and then we got Weaponized Pinata, which is, this should be the mascot of the entire
I just love
expansion.
it so much.
This thing's amazing. It's 4 mana, 4/3 mech, Weaponized Pinata. It's epic. Death Rattle. Add a random legendary minion to your hand. So it's got that fun element to it too. Just a lot of people love this type of thing, and it's a pinata, guys. I mean, it's got a pinata with like guns and stuff on it. I mean, how awesome is this? This is beautiful. Cora,
It's so
come
fun.
on. The
I love
first
it.
thoughts.
I love it.
Yeah.
I don't think you will ever see it played in standard, but I could be wrong. You know, it is a mech. That's important. I said it was somewhat similar to Piloted Shredder. You said
I think cut out there for a second. Yeah, shifting shade.
Yeah, shifting shade.
Mhm.
It definitely has aspects of those cards, and it's a super fun, super thematic card, which will be phenomenal in Arena. Absolutely fantastic. The ability to get powerful cards that you can't normally draft is amazing. In standard, though, looking at the stat line, it's not enough.
Yeah, agreed. Like this is kind of like the kind of card they used to make all the time, right? Like 4 expansions ago, 3 expansions ago, and but the power level now, this just doesn't really cut it. And there's more bad legendaries now, like Gaara, you were mentioning, 1/1s and stuff like that than there have ever been before. But I guess you get it in your hand, so yeah, this card is just more fun than anything else. Can you see playing this Gaara in anything? It
Only
is a
like
class card.
if it would see any play, it's definitely like in Benedictus Priest.
Yeah.
Just because on 5 you would play the 5-drop and this for 1 mana, and then you get a random legendary. The mech tag might be relevant for whatever. The artwork is obviously the best thing. There's so much that goes into this artwork because it's also like a Kappa Pride Pinata at the same time. And everyone was spamming
inclusive.
Fortnite. I don't know if you play Fortnite. I don't play Fortnite, but apparently this card is in some shape or form also in Fortnite.
It's not. It's like everybody forgot that Viva Pinata was a decade before Fortnite came out.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. But for those of you wondering
I just
why
why everyone's
we're talking
spamming
about
Fortnite.
it's because there's a pinata in Fortnite. Like when they drop, drops in Fortnites are these pinatas that have stuff in it. So that's what I was wondering. That's what I replied to one of Sottle's tweets. I was like, I wonder how, because he tweeted something about Fortnite, and I was like, I wonder how many people don't know what this tweet is about. And nowadays with Fortnite being so popular,
A couple prize pinata with weapons.
Yeah, definitely. Just at least artwork it's amazing, awesome. All right, next thing we've got here is Zerek's cloning gallery. Even I like the artwork too for this one. This one's pretty cool. So it's a legendary spell for this is the legendary spell for priest. Summon a 1/1 copy of each minion in your deck. So obviously you could have more than 7 minions, in your deck. Like if you had an empty board, you could have more than that. And if you have more than that, it's only going to pick the 7 that, just randomly, right? Whichever ones work. But I think for the most part, you probably won't have 7 minions in your deck. So this is one where it's like really good to have a deck tracker involved with, so you can see how many cards that you're probably going to get from this 9 mana. But what are your thoughts on this? I mean, Death Rattle minions, I could see that being good, but this thing literally came out like about an hour or 2 ago, so I'm still trying to wrap my head around this.
It's Super Barnes.
Super Barnes? You think it's
Super Barnes?
Oh, yeah.
That sums it up pretty well.
It's 9 mana though. That's a lot though.
Yeah, so because then it has like a lot of draw. So first of all, you can Shadow Visions this guy because it's a spell, right? And Super Barnes, it's perfect description. You will have Radiant Elementals, Maligos, Prophet Wellens, Talnos kind of shenanigans in your deck. And then you will just have like Smites and Mind Blasts. And if you summon Radiant Elementals with this, you can just empty your hand. Like if you play Mind Blast and Smites, you can play your hand for 1 mana and just kill your opponent. And you can do some maths if you get like Maligos and Velen and Talnos. That's lethal.
That's a really good point. If you have a Radiant in hand, you drop the Radiant, play this for 8, and then everything by 2. Mind Blasts are free. Your Smites are free.
Dead.
Yeah, but you have to have those in your hand already, right? This only, you'd have to draw those first.
That's why it's
even
so
if you
weird.
just get 1 Radiant, it's still good though.
Yeah. I guess the 9 mana doesn't really matter
But
much
the thing
then.
is, with the deck, you don't mind if they die, right? You want them to die because you have the resummon thingy that just summons like 2 copies with like 1/1 copies, and then you can kill them as well.
Yeah.
The only problem, it's definitely high roll, because if you draw all your minions, it's really bad. Like if you draw Velen and Malygos, it's always bad with that type of deck. But if you draw the cheap minions, it's not such a problem.
Somebody asked in chat, do you know this card triggers Pyromancer?
It would have used to. I don't believe it will now.
I don't think so either. But it would have before, which would be
It's a very expensive
hilarious. It would have been. Yeah, forget end of turn reckless experimenter. I'm killing them now if they're a death rattle. That would have been funny.
This will be a lot of fun and wild in N'Zoth decks as well.
I'm
not sure if this can bring Big Priest back, because it's definitely good for Big Priest.
That's what I'm wondering. Like if you hit this on Obsidian statues on, well, Yashiraj is gone, but Obsidian statues,
Lich King,
Ysera, Lich King.
Yeah, you want those cards.
That's insane.
But like even if let's just say Yashiraj is still around, right? Like there's no room on the board though for at least something like that. All the card drawing ones are those are great.
The crazy thing, they die and then you resummon them with the Spellstone.
Just get 4 full power dudes back.
But you will always get this card because
like you don't run any bad minions in that deck, right? Like that big priest used to all be good minions. So
you don't even run Barnes anymore. There's no miss in the deck.
Yeah, so you can only it's unique minions, right? So there wasn't that many unique minions in the big priest though. There was probably like 5 or 6. I mean, you relied on things like the 6 mana that summons, right? Like a 5/5 version of whatever.
Is this only unique minions though? Can you only get 1 copy of Radiant Elemental, for instance, or can you get 2? Technically, there are 2 Radiant Elementals in your deck.
I think you only get 1. I mean, it sounds like it's only unique. Summon a 1/1 copy of each minion in your deck. Well, maybe not.
I don't know.
I mean, we wouldn't say each minion, right? It would say summon a 1/1 copy of a minion in your deck. I think if it was not unique, I don't think they would have used the
If you
each.
think about it,
I don't
this
know.
card is so good.
Yeah.
If you play
It's not unique. People are saying it's not unique.
They summoned 2 pinatas in the video.
Oh, okay.
See, well that.
Okay, I didn't see the. I mean, the video.
Now they
obviously
will
was
comment if
too-
you're not good informed.
Yeah, but
Cool.
this card came out like literally while we were setting up for the show, dude. So like we didn't
Yes,
see this.
top-notch informed.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
whatever, man.
But I
Okay,
feel like this card.
So
if
it's
you
not
play-
unique. Okay, if it's not unique, then this card is really good. Like crazy good.
It's crazy good. The problem is it's a 9 mana card, so there's a lot of time that, or a lot of cards will be drawn before you get to play this card, and then it depends on how many minions you will have left in your deck. It's like an issue with, let's say, like Big Druid or whatever. That like O-card is insane, but there's like a lot of turns where you can just draw all the minions that you kind of want to pull out of your deck. And if you, let's say, only play like 7 or 8 minions, let's say the combo priest with Well and Malygos, whatever, you can draw a bunch of these minions before you get to play this card. And I don't know how consistent this will be, but this can summon 7 minions on the board. Like if you can get to play like Obsidian statues and whatever, it doesn't matter. If you get to play this card, it's so powerful if you have minions. If you can summon any 7, it's so insane.
I think the big thing is I can see this in so many decks. I can see this going well in board-based decks. I can.
You cut out that last part there.
It seems very strong.
Yeah. What type of decks at the board use that kind of
board-based decks, OTK builds? I can see it in a lot.
Yeah. I think it's a pretty definitely an exciting card if you can get to it. It'll be interesting to see if like early game, early game priests can actually survive this type of thing. That's always been the issue, but it looks like they're getting tools to be able to get to this point. So big priest, I know a lot of people aren't huge fans of big priest just because it never really felt that skill intensive. But I used to like it though, so I'm excited about this card. Let's see how many Lich Kings I can get up by using the priest cards. All right, last but not least, guys, you know who we saved. All right, we saved Dr. Boom here, which is a hero card for warriors. This is the hero card of the set. And it is Dr. Boom himself, Mad Genius. It's legendary, 7 mana warrior, 7 armor instead of 5. So, good theme. Thumbs up on the theme there. Battle cry for the rest of the game. Your mechs have rush, but also, of course, your hero power changes too. And it changes to a big red button, which basically means you have 5 different hero powers that you can get. And each time you use the hero power, it changes to a different one. And that's where it's like, so first of all, let's talk about the rush thing, and then we'll get to the hero power. So all mechs have rush, which is pretty insane. You know, like all of a sudden, everything in your deck just got given the rush mechanic, which adds a lot of value to any card. So, you know, thoughts on this? I mean, is this going to make Warrior viable again? Make Warrior good again, right? That's what everybody's always wondering. Oh,
Okay, I start.
Oh, sure.
I let Cora think, because I was bringing like Baku Warrior to the last 2 or 3 tournaments. It was like one of my best decks, and the first thing that came to my mind is you can play this in odd Baku Warrior. It's a powerful card, like insane value.
Yeah.
All these hero powers are good. There's a lot of RNG to it, but when you think about it, like you can get very unlucky. You know, if you have like a control value based match, and like one of the hero powers is discover a mech, which is probably like the best one in a value mirror.
Yeah.
And if you keep getting like deal 1 damage, AoE damage to the opponent's board, which is completely useless against other control decks, and you keep getting that hero power, you can just get absolutely destroyed by RNG. But on average, like all these hero powers are just very good. So it's like RNG with only good hero powers.
Well, you can't get 2 in a row. You can't get the same hero power twice in a row.
Oh,
I don't believe.
okay, that's good.
Yeah.
But you can get like, let's say, you know, I don't know, like what is it?
I mean, there's a
like
lot of good ones. I mean, we can just get to that. So one of them is micro. Yeah, go ahead.
Does it cycle through, or could it go from delivery drone directly back to delivery?
It can go
drone?
back. It just can't get the same
Okay.
one twice in a row. Yeah, it doesn't.
Okay,
it doesn't
good.
go in a sequence. It just.
That's definitely good. So it's unlikely that you actually get a hero power you don't want multiple times in like over 2 turns.
Right.
They're all good though, so it will definitely see play. Like a little bit sketchy was the only reason this one gives you 7 armor is because of the memes. So it makes you a little bit worried about like the competitive aspect, like game balance. It's literally the only reason this one gives you 7 armor, because it's a 7 mana, 7 armor.
Well, I think it's also fine that it gives additional armor, because the other heroes do something immediately. You know, they affect the board in some way, or they equip. You know, the Garrosh equips a weapon, which you can then use to, you know, cut down the board. Dr. Boom doesn't do anything like that. So, you know, 2 additional armor immediately is, I think, necessary just to stay alive. Maybe not even good enough.
It's good too. I think an extra 2 armor is kind of a big deal.
Good,
yeah. And I mean, on turn 10, you can actually play a few cards too. There's a lot of cheap mechs right now. So, you know, being able to stay alive on that turn, I think is huge. But let's go through the hero powers, because some of them are value based, some of them are removal based. I mean, they're generally really good. So we got Micro Squad, which is summon 3 1/1 microbots. Zap Cannon, which is deal 3 damage. So it's like a Frostbolt. Blast Shield, gains 7 armor. Kaboom, deal 1 damage to all enemies. And then finally, Delivery Drone, discover a mech. You know, that's the one that Gaara was talking about. So these are all great, man. These are, you know, like you can't choose the one you need in that certain moment. So that's kind of a bummer. But, you know, like the days of hero powering and that actually being a not optimal way of using your mana, that's not the case here. These are definitely good uses of your mana.
I'm kind of hopeful that we're going to get a warrior minion that has, you know, battle cry, select your Dr. Boom hero power turn or something like that. I am hopeful that we're going to get a.
You think so? Wow.
I hope so.
Wow.
I don't know if would that be too powerful? I don't know.
That could be good. I mean, it would have to be one of those things while it's living you can do it, right? So they can remove it the next turn, but
yes.
That could be pretty decent. I mean, I'm wondering what it would be. 7 armor, like maybe a couple times, or summon 3 microbots a few times. That's, you know, like discovering a mech. I mean, I don't know about that as much as like that 3 mana thing is. I mean, that summon 3 thing is pretty amazing. So
it would have to be a small minion that doesn't do much immediately. So maybe it would just be too bad. But I don't know. Any way to manipulate this would be.
Yeah.
Like the more I think about this card, the more broken it just looks to me. It's so good, like because it makes you also your hero power better. Like your mechs
Yeah.
have rush for the rest of the game, so the mech you discover will also have rush by default. It's just like discovering a super mech. And also like the 1/1 boom bots or mech bots or
Oh.
whatever you summon, they also have rush. It's just, and then you activate execute or whatever. It just seems so strong because you can get it out on curve as well on 7 because you get 7 armor. It's so much armor.
Plus, Warrior already has rush manipulation that we use. They've got the Woodcutter's Axe. They've got the Town Crier, for God's sake, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, I
probably
think
play this in every Warrior deck where you can put it in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that. I mean, you
wouldn't-
have to play Max.
Not in even Warrior,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah. I mean, I think Garrosh is still fantastic. I think there are still certainly decks you're going to see Garrosh. But it's nice to
Maybe
have the
more.
option.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think this card's great. I think this will be, we've definitely had the rush elements from the last expansion, Witchwood, but I don't think we've actually seen rush enough to completely
Like,
to
Dude, some
completely
of these
know
hero
how
powers are so
effective it
ridiculous.
is. Like,
you know how crazy it is that you can like
yeah.
hang up for 7 armor when you get that? You press the button, you get 7 armor.
Yeah, the 7
It's
armor
so
is crazy. That's why I think it's like, I
That's
think
so
that one's the
crazy,
most
dude.
insane one, to be honest.
Just Frostbolt
shields,
on
yeah.
command.
Well, just do that and play Yip. I mean, you're guaranteed something good, right? Like, you don't even have to have armor for that to be good. So I think given that some things have been armor centric, it's still armor centric with Warrior. They did need something like that. But the Zap Cannon, that might not be good for them. I think the Kaboom thing is definitely not something that you want
But
to.
you can go face, it's still good though.
Oh, the Kaboom's not good. The Kaboom, I mean, it's just like your normal hero power from.
It's just a whirlwind.
Yeah, it's
But
not,
I mean, that's
That's
the
worst
upgraded
one.
hero power for Garrosh. That's still fine.
yeah. So,
But the thing is that you can't get the same one twice. So makes it like you have one bad outcome, pretty much.
The good thing is that it's just not random completely. The good thing is that it actually swaps, so you know what it is, right? When you're about to press it. So that's the good thing. If it was just completely RNG, then that would totally suck.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
no.
that would be really awful. So comparing this to Hagatha, you think this is, I don't know, design wise, which one do you like better, Hagatha or Dr. Boom? Given that these are the two that they've recently added.
I personally like this one more, definitely.
This one actually has less random aspects than Hagatha does.
Yeah.
But I think Hagatha's better against it. So it just depends on how anti-aggro Warrior is going to want to be, I guess, versus whether we'll get a proactive Warrior type.
Well, Warrior needs it, man. I was going to show maybe the popularity of Warrior this week, but I didn't get a chance to get that graphic in time, given that we were already running super long too. I knew we had a lot of cards to talk about, but Warrior's down to 2.88% on HSReplay.net, popularity-wise. That is like definitely Witchwood all-time low, like for any class. So nobody is playing Warrior right now in our stats. That's sad. That's really, really sad, man. Like I hate seeing that. So they needed Dr. Boom, and Dr. Boom being good is completely fine with me. Like I want to see at least a rise back in terms of Warriors. Okay, well, maybe we'll have time for one question. Before we do, I want to quickly thank our patrons, as we always do. These are the folks that support our show and are amazing, and continue to take part in our Patreon, which you can go to patreon.com/valuetown and make a pledge today. Big shout out to our legendary producer Mike T and other patrons: Bryce L, Dave C, Alex F, Bruce W, Michael O, Graham S, Michael S, Richard G, Chris C, not me, Michael V, and Zach M. Thanks so much, guys. You guys are amazing. One thing I did want to mention before I forget, I forgot on Thursday too, but we are getting an actual card reveal, not Value Town specifically, but HSReplay.net and Streamer Showdown will have a joint card reveal on Tuesday. So Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific, you can definitely keep a lookout for the video that's going to be on the ChanmanV channel, and there will also be an article on HSReplay.net really showing the card and discussing some stats that we might think is kind of similar to or some ways of looking at it, different ways of looking at the card. So keep a lookout on that, and it's really exciting that we get a chance to do it. It's HSReplays.net's first card reveal too, so it's Streamer Showdown's first one too. So we're both first. It's really cool. Question. So Ahmed N has for Q&A. Will having a known streamer player as casters improve HCT events viewership and enjoyment? And why don't we have some of the eliminated players in the tournament cast like the old days? It's a good question for Cora, given that Cora is one of our amazing HCT casters. So, not that you're not doing a great job, Cora, but I think he's asking if, just having obviously more popular influencers might raise the viewership. What do you think?
So that's the way that it used to be.
Yeah,
right? That's how Hearthstone casting predominantly used to be before 2016 really geared away from that and wanted to go dedicated broadcasters instead of player casters. I think that because the production has leveled up so much in the last couple of years, that they really want to stick with having those dedicated broadcasters who know how to work with the production team, who know how to do the job exceptionally well. Whereas with players, sometimes you can't control everything that they're going to say. They don't know the format of the tournament as well from behind the scenes. And there's just a lot of question marks with player casters. Yeah, the audience would probably enjoy seeing it, but I think the audience enjoys having familiarity with the casters and really learning their caster styles. I feel like a lot of the time casters nowadays are, influencers as well. So I don't know that it would necessarily improve the experience for the audience, and I know that it would not experience for the production team.
Yeah.
Which is why they probably will not do it.
Okay. That's a good point. That's a really good point. I mean, there is this balance between. I mean, there are some streamers and influencers that just wouldn't be good, right? On the definitely compared to the level of casting professionalism these days, they just wouldn't be able to match that. But at the same time, there's definitely the element of having somebody popular, that people would, there would be more viewers, whether the production's actually better or not, you can make an argument for, but there would be more viewers. And, me and Gaara, I feel like we talk about this every single time that an event's on air, we're always wondering, just where all the viewers are and, how could it be better? Because I don't know if we're going to see that. I'm not even sure. Blizzard cares about viewership, but do they really care that much about viewership more so than what the product looks, what the product is?
Yeah, I mean, yes. The short answer is yes. Obviously, they care about viewership because Hearthstone was never intended to be an esport. A large reason why it is an esport today is because of all the viewership. So, you look at the tournaments overall and see that viewership declined over time, and you start to wonder, is this all worth it? So you want to have the best production, you want to have the most professional casting team, but you also want to maintain viewership, and they very much care about what the audience wants. I mean, the reason that we have so few breaks now in tournaments is because viewership declines rapidly when we ever go to a commercial. So they're working very hard to try to combat that viewership loss. It's any number of issues.
How do you think we solve it then? That's just one idea, right? But the viewership's low. Let's just let's not really try to really under or just not make it out to what it actually is. I mean, we've had some events that had 5,000 people watching it, as low as that in the last couple months. We've had as high as also 20,000 too. So it does depend on maybe where it is and when it is, but I still think it's low regardless of what it is, and I find it hard to imagine that Blizzard doesn't think it's low. So we got to do something, obviously, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously time zone matters a lot, which is why you get playoffs in 3 different time zones, which is hell for the casters, but really they make it happen because you want everybody to be able to watch the show. I think it's also a reason why they're starting to professional players who want to pursue casting, which is why you're seeing Mr. J, for instance. He cast at DreamHack Austin. He's very talented player, but also has pretty good public speaking ability. So they're wanting these players that are well liked by the audience who can transition into casters sometimes to be able to do so. So it's not that we don't want players to cast, it's that we don't want to just rip anybody out of the audience who may have gotten knocked out of the earlier to have them come on up. It's difficult for the desk hosts and the established casters to work with those people when they don't have a rapport with them, when you don't know what to expect from them. Whereas when you get those players as purely casters, then it's a different story. So yes, I think players will be moving into casting, but it's never going to be eliminated players who are playing in a tournament, pulling them up at a desk, unless it's like a DreamHack event, for instance. At DreamHack, we've done that a couple of times here and there, and it's really fun. It's a good time, but there's a time and place for it, and I don't think the HCT stage is the time or place.
But you still think that trying to get players that I guess have had some attention, like Dr. J, for instance, right? There was last year, obviously, Dr. J got a lot more attention, or at least he came on the scene really last year because of how well he did at the
Bahamas.
Yeah, Bahamas. So, but you think that's the approach, basically? It's going to take some time, clearly, because there's not that many high-profile players that even could do that. Not to mention just are even in the tour right now. I'm talking about when I say high profile, I mean somebody that if they were streaming, they would get thousands of people, right?
I mean, there's just a lot of players. A lot of players just don't want to cast, and that's totally fine. But also, if you look at HCT the way it is right now, it's been the 6 guys casting every event for the last 2 years, and I don't see that changing unless TJ's going to have a son very soon. Unless Kibler and Natalie want to start a family, somebody retires, that sort of thing. I don't know when or if that will happen anytime soon. But I don't see those 6 breaking up because they've established such a camaraderie with each other. You have the dedicated caster pairs. And it's very difficult to see those people working with anybody else in that setting at the very least.
No, I mean, you guys do a great job. It's not that you, I don't think there's anything wrong from the standpoint of that. It's just that I think there needs to do something. We got to do something. I don't know what it is. Gaara, you have any ideas? What can we do to raise viewership of these tournaments?
First of all, regarding the HCT casting thing, I think it's not professional enough. It just doesn't feel professional enough in that kind of setting to bring in players after they drop out of the tournament or whatever. Yeah. But I feel like there's tournaments where it just fits well. Seatstory Cup is a perfect example, just because of the environment, right? Just people are there everywhere, just bring them on, right? And DreamHacks as well. If it just fits right, I think it's great what we are. I count myself as part of the community. What we're doing with Dr. J. Look who has a player background and has public speaking abilities. I think Dr. J is a great caster, and just mix it in between. Nims, for example. Just people that used to be players to just get into casting. I guess more like that. Just having them as casters, not just some random people. It's just not professional enough, right? Back in the days, we used to do that just because we got started. But if you compare it to other esports, it would look a bit silly, right? I don't know. Maybe it's just my. I wouldn't care personally, but it just doesn't look so professional, right? What can we do to raise? Like you said, people want to see the famous players, the known players, the names.
I have an idea. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Go ahead.
No. If you have an idea, let's go.
So I have an idea. It's not something that hasn't been done. Here's an example. And I'll throw out just a specific example with me. It's just that we've done streamer showdowns to lead into Geico events. And it's helped, it's definitely helped the Geico broadcasts, just for the tournaments that they do, right, at the PAXs and stuff. I feel like we could do that for HCT too. You could do an invitational, or you could do something, with some of the streamers that are actually at home. They're not doing anything either, right? And they don't have to be on site or anything like that. And then just kind of help lead into the HCT events a bit more, just to get more viewership on it. I still think there's a lot of people that don't even know about it, which is still kind of crazy. So
then that comes down to little things like put it in the launcher. Put it
That's,
in the game like they
should
do with
happen too. Yeah,
put it in the
dude,
game so
totally.
that you can't physically open up the game with
Right.
seeing an announcement that this is happening right now with
Yeah.
a link directly to the stream that
Yep.
opens it up for you. Like
That too.
that's marketing. That's things outside of the production that you can do to draw people to the stream.
Yeah. Putting in the launcher and putting in the client would be, obviously
You
probably
gotta put it in
the
the
biggest
client.
things you could do, because that way you would know 100% that everybody playing the game knows that this exists, knows that HCT exists, and can watch it just at the click of a button, right? And so, yeah, I agree.
Another thing is if famous people are raising viewership, which they do, just you have to increase the incentive. I can tell you, like, people like Colento will not fly out to 3K first place HCT tour stops. It's just not happening. And like, if this is one way to increase the viewership, then you just have to do something. You know, fly them out, invite them, whatever. Another thing is, right now we have too many HCT tour stops. I think they have to cut it down somehow. It's just too many. It's like tournament after tournament.
I still don't think that's the main issue, though. I mean, I think there are too many. There are too many, but I still don't think that's one of the big issues, just given that what we've seen even with the top ones, like,
yeah, you're right. Like, if you look at Overwatch League, it's basically happening all the time. And the viewership,
and it's been bad too. It's been bad because I think it's been lower because, like, say versus Fortnite tournament, the big Fortnite tournament that happened, or League of Legends 2017, or LCS 2017, like there's a list of it, right? And the Overwatch League semis was like eighth or ninth in the list of those things. It's good numbers, still over like 100, 130, 140,000, but it's not as high because I think there's just too many matches. I
mean, I personally didn't watch any of them. And I love Overwatch. I am a huge fan.
Yeah.
But it's just very difficult to keep track of what matches actually matter because they're doing 4 days of broadcasts per week.
Yeah.
And it seems like this league has been going on for so long now.
Yeah.
That I don't even know what's going on anymore. Like, the finals is coming up at the Barclays Center, I guess, and I'm sure that I'll watch that. But
yeah, a lot of people will watch
the semis
that,
and the playoff finals.
right? Yeah.
It's just too much.
I mean, this happens in a lot of things, right? This happens in, like traditional sports, like baseball, right? I never watch baseball during the season, but when the World Series is on, or the playoffs are happening, I'll actually go and watch it, because then there's something at stake. These games have like meaning to them immediately.
The thing about that, though, is viewership for Twitch is so public.
Yeah.
Everybody can see everybody that is watching at that time. When you're at a basketball game, you don't know what the numbers are for that night. A random Tuesday during the week, like, you have no idea.
Yeah, that's what fantasy basketball is for, though, right? So keeps those boring games interesting. Maybe that's how we fix it. We need some fantasy Hearthstone, and then people will be watching everything every week. No, but anyways, some ideas throw out there. I think that to keep trying to come up with ideas to get more eyes on it, I think it's good, because again, like, I think the product, at least what you guys do, I don't know how much better we can actually get, with the synergy that the casters have right now. So it's got to be all the other stuff that we figure out. All right, well, guys, we're gonna wrap up. Cora, it's been an amazing time, like having you on again. It's always a pleasure getting a chance to talk cards with you. Where are you gonna be next, by the way? Like, I know you're not doing HGG, but what's the next thing for you?
I have something coming up early next month, and then something else later next month. One of those things is Hearthstone related. One of them is not. Neither of them have. So I'm keeping busy.
Okay, good.
But
I know you've been doing some Pokemon stuff too, which is really cool. Yeah,
that was a ton of fun. Unfortunately, it's nothing that I can announce just yet.
Cool.
But hopefully
soon. Or no leaks.
Yeah.
But any shout outs you want to do before you take off?
Gosh. I guess shout out to Gaara. It's gonna win Seatstory Cup this weekend. It's gonna be a good time. I'm excited to watch that. And just thank you guys again for letting me come on. It was a bit last minute, but I really enjoy it. I'm not podcasting much these days, but it's always really nice to get back to my roots a little bit. So I appreciate it.
Yep. Gaara, how about you?
I'm happy the day is over. It was super stressful. I was streaming 8 hours and doing this.
Yeah.
Now it's midnight. In between, I rush to the gym for half an hour, and I have to get packing. Like, as soon as I wake up, I drive to Seatstory Cup, and I'm gonna do 1 or 2 practice matches against Drive Crew right after this. So I'm very busy, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. Seatstory Cup is always so much fun, and I will not be playing on the first day, which is super cool. Like I play on Friday, so first day I will just be enjoying watching the games, casting hopefully.
That's so
Every-
fun.
Those are the best.
Every
man.
game, like every match, will be entertaining to watch because it's always like two known players playing against each other. So it's super cool.
That's another reason why
Um,
Seatstory does so well. It's because they always
And
Favorite
it's-
tournament of the year.
exactly.
And the coolest part is this is like kind of like the downtime before the new expansion, and then having like a very cool event. There's a lot of fun. It's awesome.
I mean,
What
in the
decks did you bring?
past, Seatstory was timed. I felt like right after the expansion came out, right? Like versus.
Oh
right
yeah.
before.
We
Yeah.
basically brought Q block, the very first Q block.
Yeah, I remember that.
And like 601 with 4 spiteful decks. It was hilarious.
Cora asks, what decks are you bringing?
Oh, I'm bringing very cool decks. I'm playing Questroke. Questroke, Shadowhawk
all right,
Shaman.
all right,
yeah,
cool.
super greedy lineup.
Yeah,
Questroke, Shadowhawk Shaman, Q block, and Big Druid.
Big
Ooh.
Druid, yo. Yeah,
Okay.
dude, that's
I
awesome.
like it.
I like Big Druid. That's
Super
fun.
cool.
That's super
I
fun.
basically have to learn Questroke during the event.
Yeah.
It's gonna work.
Okay.
Good luck, man.
Exactly. Good luck. Get Terrain
I'm
or
already
something.
talking
Go hook up with
to
Terrain.
Killen.
He'll give you.
I'm
that.
already talking with Killing. He's
Yeah,
teaching me a lot of
killing
stuff.
too.
Like,
Yeah.
Killing's definitely a
He
big,
knows what he's doing.
big rogue. Or
I'm playing
big
his
Quest
deck,
rogue.
basically.
Round things out. Thanks to you guys for doing it. Everybody for tuning in. I know it's kind of, again, like it wasn't on a regular day and other things were going on too at the same time. So thanks everybody for tuning in and being awesome Twitch chat. You can find the show tonight on youtube.com/ChanmanV and youtube.com/HSReplay or HSReplay.net. Both of those will have the VODs up there. You can find it on audio on iTunes, Google Play, soundcloud.com/ChanmanV, and Spotify. So you can find Valuetown there. Leave a nice review if you enjoy the show. And I guess that's going to be it. Yeah, stay tuned for more news on our card reveal. And yeah, just go to hsreplay.net and find out the coolest stats. We got some cool things coming soon. But until then, guys, we will see you next time.